This is Greg Jameson, and this is day 4 of the 5-Star Masters program. This is a being live streamed, and it is live on Zoom as well for people that have registered for the free 5-Star Masters class, all leading up to the launch of the 5-Star Masters program, which starts this Wednesday at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So we're getting excited. We're almost to the launch day. And today we are going to talk about product, and specifically not just your physical product, but the full product experience and what it takes to create a good customer experience, product descriptions, and getting people to engage with your brand. So this is the 4th point in the 5 Ps, which is product. And let me go ahead and start the recording, and we will also start the screen sharing. So again, welcome. My name is Greg Jameson. This is day 4 of the 5-Star Masters program. And today we are going to talk about the 4th P in the program, which is product. And this includes descriptions and customer experiences. So as I mentioned, this is part of a free 5-day program where we're going over each of the 5 Ps in this particular program. Now, I think I finally got everything squared away here. For anyone that might be on the call that is not familiar with who I am, as I said, my name is Greg Jameson. You can see from the screen up here that I've been in the internet business basically since the start of the internet, and I've been doing e-commerce since 2002. I've won a number of awards over this time, and I've worked with literally hundreds of different companies. So I've got some experience on what it takes to actually make your sales really prosper. And that is kind of the background of how the 5-Star formula came to be. The formula consists of 5 different words that begin with the letter P: problem, product, platform, page views, and purchases. Today we are talking about product, and not just the physical product, but the products as your customers experience them. Something that many shop owners don't consider is that the product that they are selling is much more than just the physical item that they're selling. It's the combination of the physical product along with the experience of buying it and the experience of owning it. Customer experience, or CX, is exactly that: how customers experience a product, what kind of impression it leaves on them, and as a result, the lasting feeling they have about your brand. Customer experience happens along a customer journey, often before the purchase and continuing after they've moved on. Let me tell you about an experience that I had this last summer. I went to Disneyland, and I wanted to go on the new Star Wars ride called The Rise of the Resistance. So we got to the park early. We were one of the first people in line. And as I was standing there waiting to get into the new Star Wars land, I looked behind me, and this is the crowd that I saw. And it got me to wondering, how is it that Disney can get so many people to get so excited about a new ride that they have? Imagine if you or I could get that many people to be excited about a new product when we launched it. How do they do this? Well, the answer, of course, is the experience. Disney makes the magic happen. Absolutely every detail is considered in Star Wars land. And this is what you need to do for your customer experience, from security to the product page to the checkout process and the customer service that a person received afterwards. You need to figure out how you can make the magic happen in your business. As I said, the details are important. It's part of the total experience. When you go to Star Wars land, it's not just the fact that they have a full-size replica of the Millennial Starship there, the Millennial Falcon, but every single detail is considered. Even the refreshment stands look like they belong there. So remember, the details are important. It's part of the total experience. As you can see from this graphic, it's your typography, the functionality, the visual design, the information, the interaction that you have going on. All these things help create the user experience. Amazon, as some of you know, I wrote this book about Amazon's dirty little secrets. And one of the big things that they've done is they have focused so much on the customer experience. You can see this quote here from Jeff Bezos, but they focus so much on it that they actually have a higher corporate reputation than even Apple or Walt Disney. Now, this is a short video here about Jeff Bezos explaining the customer experience. So I want to play just a bit of this here.
A lot has happened over the last 15 years. As I said, we've made a lot of mistakes. We've learned some things. I want to tell you everything I know. I can guarantee you everything I know. It's a very short list. This won't take long. And it's complete too. All right, well, the first thing I know is that you need to obsess over customers. I can tell you that we have been doing this from the very beginning, and it's the only reason that Amazon.com exists today in any form. We've always put customers first. When given the choice of obsessing over competitors or obsessing over customers, we always obsess over customers. We pay attention to what our competitors do, but it's not where we put our energy. It's not where we get our motivation from. We really like to start with customers and work backwards. And again, that is the key thing that I know, and it covers a lot of other mistakes. If you're truly obsessed over customers, it'll cover a lot of errors.
Okay, so Amazon has set the bar, and customers today expect all websites to match those standards that Amazon has set. This is what we have to strive for as people running businesses online. Our customer experience needs to be at least as good as what Amazon has created in order for us to basically compete in the marketplace. So just a quick comic here about that. But the goal here obviously is to build audience trust, loyalty, and even evangelism. You can look at people like, or companies like Tesla or Apple, or even Harley Davidson, where people are willing to tattoo the logo of this company on their body because they feel so strongly tied to that brand. That's what we need to do with our customers. Now, let me share with you another story. And the point of this story is to remember that your website is for your customer, not for you. But this past summer, my eldest son got married in Colombia. And when we went to Colombia, we decided that we really wanted to go to this tourist attraction called El Peñol de Guatapé. Well, I had someone from South America recommend to me that I take a tour, and they gave me a website where I could book the tour. Well, it turns out that the most challenging part of this excursion was not walking up the 710 steps to the top of El Peñol de Guatapé. Rather, It was booking the tour in the first place. Despite the fact that I understand Spanish and I was traveling with my wife and my younger son, who are both completely fluent in Spanish, booking this tour was a major challenge. In order to book the tour, you had to go to the website for the tour company. And the website was pretty standard with all the basic information about what you would expect to see, the cost and what was included, but there wasn't a shopping cart. In order to book the tour, you had to send a message to a number on WhatsApp. Now in South America, I guess WhatsApp is kind of a standard and that's what people expect to do. But I ended up sending or receiving a total of 56 messages to get the tour booked. You heard that right, 56. The website said that the tour was in both Spanish and English, so I started out by texting them in English as I was interested in going on an English tour. I simply indicated that I wanted to make a reservation on Thursday for 3 people, and the response was, well, do you want this to be groupal or private? So I asked what the prices were, and they came back and said, well, the private tours are 650,000 Colombian pesos, and the groupal tours, obviously group, was 94,000 Colombian pesos. And this was followed by another message about 10 minutes later. Oh, sorry about that. That's 750,000 Colombian pesos. So I indicated that I wanted to do a group tour and that we were staying in the El Poblado neighborhood in Medellin. And I asked what the central pickup point was. So they told me that it was this nearby park. I went to the park the day before to make sure that I knew what I was doing. And there was a whole bunch of different tour buses. They're all from different tour companies. So I texted them back on WhatsApp and said, well, what tour bus do I use? What's the name of the bus? And they said, well, there isn't the name of the bus. You just go to the bus and tell them your name. And this was really frustrating. My wife was just like, why don't you just give up and we'll, hire Uber or somebody to drive us there. And I was like, no, Sylvia said we really ought to do this. So I'm going to do it. Well, we finally got the thing all squared away. And it turned out that this was a wonderful tour. The person did speak English, but it was a major hassle getting this booked. And the purpose of telling you that story, obviously, is what I said before, that your website is for your customer. It's not for you. You want to make it easy on your customer. This goes to absolutely everything when it comes to writing your product descriptions, the checkout process, whatever it might be. The sole purpose of the website is to make it easy for the customer to do business with you. In fact, ever since the COVID pandemic, customers have shown that they value customer experience over price, and product is the key brand differentiation. So the product and customer experience is basically a bundle of attributes that person receives in exchange for some money. One of the things that you want to do, and we mentioned this the other day, is to get others talking about your marketing. Provide means for your customers to create user-generated content. User-generated content it's great in all different forms, whether it be short testimonials and reviews, whether it be somebody actually writing a story or creating a video about your product. It can even be argued that these testimonial and reviews are part of your product. Use influencers to make product recommendations on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc. We talked the other day about GoPro and how if they had been backed by venture capital, they likely would have been put out very traditional ads and very boring ads. Whereas spokesperson would have held up a camera and pointed out some of its features, telling you why it was so great. And you would have seen its specs and told that it was rugged enough to take anywhere. But what GoPro did is it utilized user-generated content because its founder, Nick Woodman, basically didn't have any money when he started the company. It's now worth over $2 billion, and it was all done on the back of user-generated content, where the users would go out and take crazy videos of themselves jumping out of airplanes, going off of ski jumps, riding down insane mountain bike trails like this. If you can create a personalized experience, it's even better. I recently had somebody send me this video, and I'm not going to play this entire thing, but I want to show you just the beginning.
Hey, Greg, Chris Ford here. Now, what I'm about to say, I think has a lot of weight to it because I would describe myself as podcast junkie. When I found your show, I think I ate up like 3 or 4 episodes, and before I said, all right, Chris, you need to move on with your day. I just found it was sort of like, I don't even know how to, I felt like I was in a library with just knowledge all around me and the texture of that room. That's how the interviews just sort of navigate, and there is.
Now, the point of sharing that with you is obviously this was a very personal video. Chris sent me this video. She held up this sign saying, "Hey, Greg," and started complimenting me. That is what you really want to do with your customers, is create a personalized experience. Now, if you have a WooCommerce website, there is a plugin that you can use called If So Content Personalization. And you can see that there's a bunch of different ways that you can do this. Basically, the way that it works is you create a trigger, and then you set a condition and set the personalized content version. You can create some optional things in there too for more dynamic versions, and then you paste the short code into whatever pages or product descriptions that you want. And every time that page is displayed with the short code, one of the content versions is displayed accordingly based upon the parameters that you've set up here. And this might be things such as the time zone that they're in, whether or not they're logged in, if they're a returning visitor, where they're located, what other pages they've already visited on your website, who referred them to your site, what their user role is, and so forth. So you can create very personalized information for your customers. Now, another way that you can create a personal customer experience is to use either chat bots or live chat. One chat bot that you can see up here is actually called Chatbot Ecommerce. But basically, artificial intelligence has changed how we use the internet, both from a consumer and a digital marketing point of view. And chat bots are one way that you can do this, where it feels like you're actually chatting with a person, even though you're talking to an AI bot. Now, on Saturday, we did a bonus session about AI. And towards the end of the presentation today, I'm not going to go through that entire presentation. People can go back and they can look at the replay of that. But I'm going to show you just a couple of things here as we go through as to how AI can help. Now, the other thing that you can do here is actually have live chat on your website. And that would allow you, if you are on the internet at the same time as your customer, allow them to chat with you live over your website and help them make their buying decisions. We also talked a little bit in the bonus session about how to prevent yourself from getting sued for not being ADA compliant. And this is something that is really critical, not just for you not being sued for ADA compliance issues, but if you make your site be ADA compliant, all the things that you have to do to get your site being compliant help with the user experience, and therefore they help everybody coming to your website, regardless of whether or not they happen to be impaired somewhere along the way. Again, in the bonus session on Saturday, we talked here about this site called Accessibility, where you can go and get a free audit of your website at the URL that I'm showing here at the bottom. Now, there's actually, like I said, really good business reasons to make sure that your site is accessible. By having an inaccessible website, you're leaving out about 19% of your potential customers. In an article about the business case for making your website accessible, the W3C states that the global market for people with disabilities is over 1 billion people with a spending power of more than $6 trillion. That sounds like pretty good reasons to make your site accessible. But as I said, by ensuring that a website is ADA compliant, businesses can provide a better customer experience for all users, including those that should be without disabilities. And this is important because it allows people with disabilities to access and use your website, which can improve the overall experience and increase their likelihood of returning to the site in the future. So I've got a pop quiz here. I'm going to show you 2 product listings. And I want you to tell me, you can just tell yourself, you don't have to tell me, but think to yourself, which one do you think is going to sell more? Number 1 or number 2? And I'll put them up. Here's the rest of number 2. So I'll put them up side by side so that you can see it. Which one is going to sell more, number 1 or number 2? Well, it's actually pretty obvious just by looking at it here that number 1 has 13 reviews with 3 stars. Number 2 has got 76,000 reviews at 4.5 stars. Number 2 is clearly outselling number 1 by a large margin. Now, why do you think this is the case? Well, there's actually a number of different reasons, and it all boils down pretty much to the user experience that we talked about. Number 1 has a single product image. Number 2 has got multiple product images and a video. It also has a much more robust product description. Yep, it costs $16 versus $2. It costs way more, and it's selling landslides more of the product, all because of the fact that they've got great product images, multiple images from different points of view. They've got videos, and they have this great product description. As it turns out, when it comes to product descriptions, more is better. The internet does not have a space limitation like traditional ads. So remember that your customers come to your website looking for information. So give it to them. 67% of consumers who have visited an online store with the intent of making a purchase left the site because the retailer did not provide enough information about the product in order for the consumer to feel comfortable enough to make the purchase online. You need to create robust product descriptions and give people the information that they're looking for. So this is what we were talking about on Saturday, about how everybody is, there's all this buzz out there about OpenAI and ChatGPT, and how these tools can be great for time saving. They have good quality. You can customize the stuff, and you can use them for inspiration. This is a product description that I told it to create. And in fact, I see that Becky's on the call with us here today, so she's seen this before, I know, but I basically said, hey, go to create a product description about hammered triangle earrings, and this is what it came up with. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go through the full demo again. People can look at that recording, but I do want to show you real quickly here just a couple of these things. So I am going to stop my share. And I am going to jump over to the OpenAI playground. And I'm going to share that screen. And you can see that this is the interface for OpenAI Playground. And you can put in here whatever you want to, but what I recommend that you do with every one of your products is you come in here and you say something like, write a product description for whatever your product might be. I'm going to, just looking around my room here, I'm going to say for authentic Navajo China doll. And this one's going to be of an eagle dancer. Obviously, you can write whatever you want to. You hit submit, and it goes through and it writes a product description for you. It may not be perfect, but this is great inspiration and a great way for you to get started on your product descriptions. You can just select all that. You can copy it. You can paste it now into Word and edit it. You can paste it into your e-commerce program and edit it there as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this same thing, write a product description of an authentic Navajo Kachina doll of an eagle dancer, and I'm going to do this in ChatGPT. ChatGPT is run by OpenAI, but this is a chat example, and I'm just going to paste that in there and ask it to write the description there. And you can see that, again, it writes a description. The description is different. Everything that you do in AI is a completely original thing every time that you do it. So this is, again, not a bad description. I actually kind of like it, but if you want to, with ChatGPT, you can tell it to try again and add in more detail. I don't have to repeat the fact that I'm wanting a description here for this Navajo Kachina doll. So again, pretty cool thing. And like I said, the descriptions may not be perfect, but you want lengthy product descriptions. If you're having trouble writing product descriptions for the things that you're selling online, give OpenAI and or ChatGPT a shot. So pretty good description there, considering that I didn't even give it a full sentence to start with. Let's jump back to our slideshow. So your homework before tomorrow is to write a letter to your ideal customer avatar. We've talked about this in previous days, describing why you think they should buy your product. Make it about them and how they're going to benefit from using your product or service. Include a story or a PS in this letter with some user-generated content. And if you get stuck, use OpenAI or ChatGPT as a starting point for ideas. The whole idea here, when you are building these product descriptions, is that you really want to create some kind of a great customer experience for the visitors to your website when they're looking at the products or services that you have to offer. Now, tomorrow, we are going to talk about the fifth P, which is purchases. A lot of people refer to this as conversions, getting visitors to convert into customers. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to get somebody to actually make a purchase now that we've got them to our website? We've got them where they know that we are solving a particular problem that they have because they are our ideal customer. We've given them a great user experience. How are we now going to get them kind of over that last hurdle and start making purchases? All of this, of course, is leading up to Wednesday. So tomorrow's Tuesday, and that's the last day of this 5-day course, which means that on Wednesday, we are actually going to open the cart for what I call the Web Stores Masters program. This is basically 4 programs in one. I've talked a little bit about this. I'm going to talk more about this tomorrow, but I want to give you just a brief overview here. This is basically 4 programs in one. The core of this is the mastermind, and we are going to meet twice a month for 90 minutes in this mastermind. And the idea is that you are going to meet with other online business owners, entrepreneurs, where you are going to share experiences with each other, and we're all going to learn from each other. I'm going to start these sessions out with what I call a master class, where I'm going to give you about 20 minutes or so of a particular topic. In fact, I had a client over the weekend asking me about taxes and how they could charge different taxes for someone depending upon where the product was being shipped to. This is obviously just one of many of the kinds of things that we're going to talk about, but that might be a topic that we talk about one time, is where I show you how you can charge taxes for different places where your product is being shipped to. And then we'll open this up for conversation amongst the people that are participating in the mastermind, and we can see how different people are addressing this. The shopping cart that you're using, as it turns out, it doesn't really matter with the kinds of things that we're going to be talking about in the mastermind. Most of the people will be utilizing either Shopify or WooCommerce, but again, the particular shopping cart doesn't really matter. There's also going to be some one-on-one coaching involved in the master's program and some done with you services. There's some people on the call today, I know, that I've been working with them already in those capacities. And there are basically 3 different involvement levels that you can get started with in this program. There's what I call the boutique level, the Merchant Plus, and our VIP or omnichannel VIP level. Depending upon which level you select, depends upon how much you put into and how much you get out of this program. So at the boutique level, every level, basically, you get the mastermind and the master class. So that's a given right up front. You get some one-on-one coaching with the Merchant Plus level, and you get some additional one-on-one coaching and done with you services at the VIP level. So is it worth it? Well, you can take a look at some of the quotes up here. With all the people I've helped over the year, absolutely everybody thinks that the level of service and information that I provide has been worthwhile. And just as importantly, if you take a look at what it costs to hire a webmaster to run your website, your starting salary for somebody that, you know, has taken a class or something but doesn't really have much experience is going to be about $57,000 a year. If you go with somebody that is into digital marketing, you're going to start them out at about $71,000 a year. you're going to have all these costs to run an online business. I'm sure the people listening to this are aware of it, but your website's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you money to maintain it. It's going to cost you money to market it, to run social media, to do your search engine optimization, to make sure the site is secure. And all these things add up. And basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how you can save all that money. So only you can decide if this is worth it for you or not. But my promise is I am going to show you how you can save all that money when you join the Web Stores Masters program. You'll have to decide for yourself which level's right for you. But what I would ask that you do is simply schedule some time with me and let's see if it makes sense. This is a strategy call. This is not a sales call. Just let's get on a Zoom call and we'll go over your business and see, one, if it makes sense for your business, and if so, at which level makes the most sense for you to get the highest return on your investment. So with that, I am going to go ahead and end the recording of this. And if anybody has any questions about user experience or any of the items that we touched base with here today, I will remain on the call for a couple of minutes and you can post your questions in the chat or in the Q&A area, and I will be happy to answer those. And so recording will go off and we'll go ahead and open it up for Q&A. I'm not seeing any questions come through here, so I will see everyone again tomorrow, same time, same place, and look forward to talking with you then. Have a great day.